This is actually a very cool card. And we need to make this one first before we make card number 3 because we are going to be using parts of this that we cut out. So when you open it, you'll see that there's an image from the circle there, but on the inside, it is the circle showcases the skyline on the inside, so it looks like it's double. It's a very cool card, and I'm going to show you how we made this, okay? So I'm going to go through the items that we need to create this card, and I will show you how it's made. So what we need first of all is a Cajun Craze card base, and it's just regular and scored at the center. I do need to have a circle, and what I want to do is I want that circle to be slightly smaller than the circle image. So there's the ephemera pack. I'm going to pop this out. I want this circle to be slightly smaller, so it goes like that. And the reason I want that is so that when I glue this on the card front, I have something to glue it on. Because if I have it the exact same size, I have nothing to glue this ephemera pack onto, and that makes it more difficult. So I have a circle that is slightly smaller than that image. Okay. I also have the card envelope, and that's going to be on the inside, and I'm going to be cutting this 4 inches by 5 1/4, and this goes on the inside of the card, and we will be stamping our skyline on that. I also have a happy birthday. And remember from the corduroy pack, that's just what I'm going to call it, there are the tiny little strips, and what I want to do is I'm going to take from the edge a couple of the tiny little corduroy strips, and I want them to go behind that sentiment. So there's one there, and I'm not taking the long ones, I'm just taking the smaller ones that are on the edge. So I got the 2 there. And those are the items pretty well that we need. Oh, did I show you that we also need one of the card fronts, and I'm going to be cutting this in half. We're going to be using this portion of the skyline, but this half we need to reserve for card number 3. So we are going to cut this in half. So let's get cutting some of these items. Again, I'm going to be cutting it in half on the score line. And what I want to do is I want to make this piece has to come down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. So again, I'm just going to cut off a small piece, turn it down to 5 1/4. And I'm going to be cutting from the bottom because I want to keep more of that skyline on the top. Okay. I'm just going to trim this off a little bit. That was where the little score line was. So now I have it very small, and it's going to look really good on the card base. Going to bring in the card base, and you see it fits nicely on there. Let's take a look. There we go. Right there all around the edge. Now this is a tricky part, okay? What I want to do is I'm going to use a little piece of tear and tape. I'm not going to use a whole bunch, a very small amount, and I'm going to put it on the bottom of that image. I'm going to show you what I mean. A very small amount of tear and tape. And on the bottom, I'm going to show it. So there's the front on the bottom. I'm going to put it right there. The only reason I'm doing that, and it's the only place I'm going to place it, is so that it doesn't move when I put it through the cut and die machine as I cut my circle. I want this to stay in place. Okay. I'm going to cut that, put that right on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that circle. I'm going to take that circle. There we go. And I'm going to place it right here. So there's the kind of the break line of the water. I'm going to place it up a little higher. And I'm going to keep that on there with some Post-it notes. Now when you run this through the cut and emboss machine. You may have to do it a couple of times, and I'm going to also show you another trick. So once again, Post-it note. I don't want it to move, so I'm going to put a couple of Post-it notes on it. There we go. I'm going to open up my card, and then I'm going to run this through the cut and emboss machine a couple of times. I really want it to cut through the 2 layers. Because it's thicker, it may take a couple of times to cut through. So let's go do that. So I ran it through the cut and emboss a couple of times. What I did is I didn't want this circle to pop out because I wanted to show you on the back. I just added a piece of Post-it note here, and you can see that it is completely cut through both pieces. And now I can take that off from the front. And I can pop this out. Now you want to reserve these 2 pieces in particular. You want to keep them because this will go for card number 3, and we need that for card number 3. So it's looking good. Let's see it all the way through. There we go. This is coming together really nicely. What I want to do is take that inside the envelope, and I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 for the inside of the card. Again, make sure, because we are cutting with the envelope, please make sure that your blade is very sharp so you don't end up with ragged edges. That does not make a card look very pretty. So we have that. What I want to do is I'm going to take my stamp, and I need to figure out where it needs to be on the inside. The easiest thing to do actually is to glue this in. Now I'm not going to do any glue in the center. I'm going to do a little bit of glue on each corner. And the reason I do that is because I don't want any glue on where I'm going to be stamping, because this is the difficult part. So I'm going to place that in there. See, it's got a nice frame around it. Because I did not glue the center, there is no waves or any bumps to that. I'm going to take my ink, and there is the image of the skyline. Now this is the part you want to take some time doing. I'm going to take a look, and I want the skyline to be in that circle. So I can see it's right about there. So it was right about there. And I'm going to stamp the skyline right there in the middle. It may take a couple of times for you to open and close the card. Just do that a couple of times just to make sure. So I got that right in the center, and that looks really good. We are going to continue on with the stamping, but this time we're going to take our little circle with the ephemera pack. There it is right there. And we can either add some more city, or I can add the lights. I could do the lights on here, or I can do the city. But I think for this time, I'm going to do the city. So the first time I did the lights, and that's what it's going to look like. But I think I want to double up and do the skyline on this. And let's see, and that doesn't quite match. That's why I didn't do the skyline. This skyline does not quite match up with the image here. That's why I did it with the lights. So let's go back to the lights. Remember, there was a reason for why I did that. So I'm going to go here. I'm actually going to go just like that. Oops. And there we go. Okay. And it gives a little bit. If you want, you can do a little bit more, but I don't think so. I don't think I want to take the chance. Okay, and I can lay that right on top. And even though there's a little bit, because the circle is smaller, what I'm going to try and do, oops, sorry, the circle is smaller, I'm going to try and keep it even as possible as much as I can. So doing that, I'm going to lay it down, and I will add some glue. Just be careful on where you add the glue. I'm not going to use liquid glue, I'm going to use my little glue dot, because I can get really precise with that without it squirting out on the edge or anywhere. And I'm just going to put that right on the edge there. I'm going to start with one and place it on there. Okay, so I have the glue dot. And I need a couple more glue dots on the top. And it's easier doing this. So if it's off, then I can always maneuver it. So if I did it with liquid glue, it would make it a little bit more difficult. And what I want to do is actually just tuck in the glue dots. Okay, I'm going to turn this. Again, I'm going to tuck in the glue dot. All the way around, so that is sticking out a little bit. I can tuck that in, I can roll it in a bit, and there we go. Okay, what I want to do is, remember I had those little strips? There we go. Sorry, I don't mean to have it off screen. I'm going to have these strips, I'm going to angle cut them a little bit, tidy them up. I'm going to put them right here. Because there was that space right there, I'm going to place my happy birthday on that spot right there. I think that's going to look really cool. Let's get our dimensionals. Just like I did with the other card, I'm going to hold these down and add some dimensionals to it. Get these out a little bit more. I'm going to pop it right on the center there. That's looking really good. I'm going to add a couple of embellishments on the outside. Okay. And on the inside, it's done. Look at that. If I really want to, I guess I could add an embellishment up here, but I don't think so. I'm going to add a couple of spots of Wink of Stella. And that is kind of like a little peekaboo card that we have created. That looked really good. Now remember, these pieces that we cut out is going to be used on another card, so make sure you have them set aside. Okay, that was pretty simple, wasn't it?